Michael, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you.
Hey, Justin, thanks for having me, man.
So let's get into Unholy Night because this is probably the funnest movie I've watched in like the last couple months. So, are you a fan of like Christmas horror films? Because it felt like it was like an Evil Dead meets Silent Night, Deadly Night type of movie.
Yeah, you know what? I can't. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of like Christmas horror movies, but I'm not one who sort of like grew up like watching and being obsessed with them. I just felt like, especially for this story, it happening at Christmas made sense to the story. It made sense to everything. You know, when I first came up with this idea, it was just like this. There's always a huge pressure that comes with Christmas Eve dinner, you
Yeah.
know, in sort of this in our Italian culture. And I just felt like, how can I just ratchet it up in a way that like makes it fun and sort of like helps sort of explore the ideas that I want to explore with the film. So honestly, it wasn't like sort of like inspired by Christmas stuff, but I'm a big fan of Christmas, and I love just like not even just Christmas horror films, but just like even Christmas movies. This there's this almost like sappiness about it that like makes you feel like there's some sort of warmth there, and I just felt like contrasting that with a horror film would like provide some interesting opportunities, right?
Oh yeah, because the casting is done so phenomenally. Like Gino, I loved everything about Gino in this film.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean the casting process was really great. Like I envisioned like these characters in my head, like but then when we actually went through the casting, it was just like these people just came up, and I'm like, this is perfect. Like these are perfect for these characters. Like they understood, Mark Ben David who played Gino. It's like when I talked to him, like Gino's a dynamic character, and he's sort of like with a mix of wanting to be the hero and then also just like kind of goofy in his own way and doesn't quite fit in. I think Mark just did an amazing job portraying that, and everyone in the family, I felt like just really brought their all and brought like an interesting dynamic to those characters, and really they all felt like family to me. Like even on set, they really bonded, which was something special.
Oh, they seem like a family. When I was watching, I'm like, this is actually like a real family.
Yeah, Justin, I was like, just to expand on that, I was long time, like just a long time of this group together. They really like bonded in a way that I couldn't expect. They became like almost like best friends overnight, and it's still like great friends. Like we had a huge turnout of cast at the premiere, and like none of them are local, or none of them. Everyone came from like out of town, and it was so amazing to see that, see everybody together. It made it extra special, right?
There is two scenes that actually stood out to me. The kitchen scene, when you actually see what happens, and everybody's just standing there looking at her when she actually happens, and I'm like, this is probably the scariest scene I've seen within the last couple of years.
That's awesome. I'm so glad. I mean, to me, there that scene is supposed to be a turn, right? Like, I mean, the movie opens up with like, well, like let's just say like a horror type cold open, that sets you up for what you're about to expect. But then after that, it's like the vibe is sort of like it's like a Christmas movie, right? Like a Christmas comedy. You've
Yep.
got, and it's like really about, for me, it was just really about like taking that moment to be with the characters and have fun, and like get a sense to really know them and like feel them as a family. But then when grandma comes back, like when we're kicking to horror, like I wanted to make sure there was no like half measure. Like I wanted to hit that hard because I want to tell people like, yeah, we have fun. You met the family. Now I'm going to take you guys through the ringer.
Because as soon as the music changes, it just felt like the entire movie just flipped for me. Because I got the warm family laughing vibes, but when you turn on the horror, it felt like it just didn't let up. And then you sprinkled a little bit of comedy in. Did you always want to put a little bit of comedy in to match your little to match your horror vibe with it?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that was the plan all along. It's like, I think you know, I find this movie to me was sort of ambitious in terms of the tones that are in there. It's like you have like, the comedy and the horror. And like once we sort of like start mixing them up together, it's to me, it was really trying to find that right balance. And I feel like horror and comedy have a lot of similarities, especially in terms of the timing. And I think a good comedic moment to cut a very intense horror scene can make everything just feel better. Because to me, it's like I sort of see this as sort of a roller coaster, and that's how I try to like develop my films, is sort of like bringing people through a roller coaster of emotions, where there's like the laughing and the crying and the screaming, and in order to have those high highs and those low lows, having the comedy there helps like let people rest and relax and let go of some of this tension before I can just ratchet it up again in another scene. And I feel
Yeah.
like it makes it more dynamic. At least that's how I like to approach my films, to sort of like give people a dynamic experience.
Oh yeah, I love how it starts out, and then once you started like just turning up, it just felt like I think we need more movies like this because I think a lot of movies are like, all right, let's hit the audience over the head, and then let's downplay a little bit. I like the uptick in films.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, what has your journey been like making this film, and then your film going to all these festivals?
Yeah, so the journey in the film, the journey in the film was actually really interesting, and it came together pretty well. I connected with some really great producers, Jenna McMillan out of Prince Edward Island, which is where we shot, and Jason Levangie and Mark Tetrell. They're based in Halifax, and I had this idea, and they're the ones who really were like able to like find a pathway and make it a reality. And it was a beautiful thing to sort of see it all come together. I mean, it's a low budget indie horror film, but we were really able to sort of like stretch everything in order to like make the idea work. Because when I originally wrote it, I was like, oh, I want to try to write something like simple that happens in a house. And when the producers when a producer's mind comes to it, they're like, okay, I mean, yes, it happens in a house, yes, but you have a huge ensemble cast. You've got like practical like makeup and effects and lots of stunts. Like this is not it's not a simple movie to make. So with their expertise, they really were able to like find a way and make this work. And we shot it on Prince Edward Island, which is so cool. And the cast showed up, and like makeup and the crew, everybody, our director of photography, just to really like envision this and make this a reality. I think everyone really put a lot of work into making this what it was, and a lot of heart and intensity went into it.
Oh yeah.
Hope that answers your question.
So I really liked your gore and your practical effects. How did you how did you make it so realistic to me? Because I haven't seen blood like yours in like a film in like ages.
Oh wow! Wow. So in terms of like the practical stuff, we had like a great production designer, Ryan Vesey, and it was sort of like him with Andy Liga, who was our head of makeup too. And it was just sort of like a mixture of sort of going between them to sort of like get this blood feeling and looking right. And we wanted to focus on certain set pieces specifically, because it's like there was only so much that you can do, because you only have so much time on like an indie low budget film, right? And so it was really about finding those moments that would really sing, the moments that would stand out, and then just like making sure we did those right, and we took the time to do those right. And that's probably what you're reacting to, those moments of
Oh yeah.
practical effects. Yeah.
So there is another scene that I went nuts for, and it was the overhead chase scene.
Yes.
How did you create that? Because that was absolutely wild.
Are you talking about the moment when Nana's like chasing someone in the other room,
Yes.
sort of like perspective? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I love that. I wanted to do more of that, and we would have if we had more time, right? Because I just felt like such a cool angle. So there's this thing. It's called a snorri cam, and you've probably seen it in other films too, where it's like a camera that's like right in front, and it like looks at the actor, and no matter where the actor moves, it's sort of like it's almost like a plate on their chest and an arm that goes out and a camera that's stuck to it. And you see their face, and their face sort of moves.
Yeah.
Used I think I remember like when I first saw it, it was like it probably been used before this, but I remember seeing it in like Requiem for a Dream back in the day, and I just always thought it was like a really interesting perspective, but it was always focused on the actor's face. And
Yeah.
I was like, I want it different. I want to see like from the back, because there's something scary about that, almost like a video game, right? It's like you're like third person, sort of like
Yeah.
running and doing that. So that's what it was. It was our stunt actor, and we basically like strapped this sort of reverse snorri cam is what I'm calling it, and it had a big arm that went out, and then sort of like like a Sony FX3, which was our sort of like C cam sort of mounted there with a wide angle lens. And our, and it was our stunt actor that like had to run with this thing in the house. So yeah.
Did they actually run, or was it like she ran and then you sped it up? Because it
No,
felt,
what you see was there was no speeding up. I mean, I don't remember like I don't think she went like as fast as she could, but there was definitely running there. And she didn't hold back. Leslie is her name. She didn't hold back. She was great. But yeah, it was like it was an awkward sort of thing because it's like it's heavy too. But she was a boss. So yeah.
because it felt like she was booking it.
Yeah, totally. Well, you know what? We also sort of shot it with sort of a skinny shutter, so it like made things feel a little choppier, especially during those action scenes. So it could like that's probably part of like the way that it felt a little bit more raw, you know?
Yeah, because when everybody starts going after it, I'm like, all right, this now we're getting after the battle royal over here because everybody's just going after one another now.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. That was yeah. It's tricky because there's a lot of different stuff happening at once, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Like the end to your film, I have never expected in my life because I had a simple track for your like your story and whatnot, and when your movie ends, it just made me crack up laughing. Is that how you wanted to end your film?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like it the film itself is sort of like in my mind is like kind of an emotional roller coaster in terms of like this sort of like fun roller coaster ride, but it brings you through a lot. And so just leaving on a laugh felt good for me in a way that like just like I love leaving with a smile on my face. Like there's not to give anything away. It's like there's a lot of hard stuff that happens for a lot of the characters, and so like having this sort of like funny, but also kind of like what could happen now at the end. Like for me was important. Leaving on that laugh.
Yeah, because your movie made me feel like maybe my family's not that bad.
Yeah.
Your film made me appreciate my family a little bit more.
Well, that's great. That's actually one of the best compliments that I've gotten so far. Thank you for saying that too, because it's. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, this film is about family. It's about like it's a big part of all these different family members that like could hate each other in some moments, but at the end of the day, they're all family and they're all there to support each other. And there's something special about that.
So, since your movie is on the festivals now, is there like a timetable for everybody to stream it or physical copies or anything as of yet?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, I mean, the idea is for it. Like I can't reveal anything yet because of what's sort of going on with our sales team. But people will be able to see that by the end of this year. Yeah, it's going to be like a Christmas release, or like that's what we're planning for. Yeah.
Oh, it has to be like the week before Christmas because that would be the ultimate time to release this film.
Yeah, yeah, totally. But I mean, it's made to be a Christmas film, so we're releasing at Christmas. That's the plan. So yeah.
All right, I know you're probably busy doing a lot of interviews, but before you go, where can people follow you?
So I'm probably the most active on Instagram, and it's my full name, Michael Gabriel with an E, director. So Michael Gabriel, director on Instagram is the best way for people to find me.
Make sure you follow Michael. He will provide updates when this movie comes out. Michael, thank you for your time. I
Yep.
greatly
It
appreciate
was
you.
so great chatting with you. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you so much.